This year we have increased our hiring. We feel quite positive. Our intake into the company is a mix of both laterals as well as freshers. And the process of selection is very different from saying who is referred you. It's not going to work. The reference is only till the CV comes onto the table.
In real money terms, a fresher engineer is probably making less money than their peers 10 years ago. Is that a...
Well, it's again, all this is a question of the industry, the demand, supply. People, if they kind of learn fast and perform, then I think the opportunities are phenomenal. This year we have increased our hiring. We feel quite positive in terms of the number of people that we will be hiring, and our hiring of freshers has over the last year has picked up. So we see, we are quite positive about it.
It'll be more than last year?
Well, again, these numbers and all are something we can't kind of say this is it. But yes, we've seen a positive increase in the hiring that we have done last year over the year before, and we'll see.
But you're not sure whether it can continue?
It may continue. So I think it's like, we can't just say right now, but I think as we build all of this as we go along.
Because and the reason why I'm asking is that the business is sort of closely linked to the strength of the company, number of people working on projects, etc. So it directly affects you, right?
Yeah, so I think we've seen, if you look at it, our intake into the company is a mix of both laterals as well as freshers. So we've seen an increase in the number of people that we have hired, especially freshers. We've also introduced something called an InfiTQ, which is like a platform where even third year and fourth year students can go online, learn the stuff and do a test. And once they pass a test, they get an offer. So we've done all of that. So I think there's a lot of technology that's been there, and there's a strong brand that is there. So therefore, there's that process that we follow for freshers. For laterals, I think a lot is to do with social media, LinkedIn, as well as internal referrals that we use. All of these are there. The more the referrals you use, maybe less of the cost that would be. So it depends on the mix. And the more what we call as general skills that you hire, the less of the cost. There is a part which is sourcing. The sourcing part is saying, listen, let me get as many CVs as possible. Referral is one way, and there are other ways also. But once you get all those CVs, then you select. In selection, you got to ensure that you're not biased. Therefore, you have a right panel of interviews so that you get the right people that you want. So I think if you manage both these, sourcing as well as the selection.
So can you give us a breakup of this? How much is referral? How much is social media?
I wouldn't know exactly the number. But
no, why I'm asking this is somebody watching this interview has a friend in Infosys, has a LinkedIn account, and is gone to a headhunter. Which one should he apply through?
Well,
when are the odds better?
Yeah, I don't think once the application comes here, then after that we are kind of, it doesn't matter where somebody is from. So that's not, because then the selection takes over. And the process of selection is very different from saying who is referred you. It's not going to work. The reference is only till the CV comes onto the table, then there's a shortlisting, then there's an interview, and then the process is like, irrespective of which is the source, that's a different process.
I think one of the things that the entire industry has been guilty of is the starting salaries for engineers. For over a decade now, we've gone from 3.5 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs. Is that enough? I mean, it's in real money terms, a fresher engineer is probably making less money than their peers 10 years ago. Is that a...
Well, it's again, all this is a question of the industry, the demand, supply, I think. But I think what happens is people also, as they skill, you see the industry is also changing. The more people learn and skill, I think the career and their growth takes on a different trajectory. So again, we got to go with how the industry is, and I think we got to remain competitive, look at how it is. Yes, if you're a base, then without much of a skill, it's tough. But the minute you gain experience and learn skills, then you can.
With some of the skills that I can either learn on Infosys campus with a 4.5 lakh salary, or can I do something along with my engineering degree and come on board at a higher point?
So, like we have, for example, we hire people who we call as equivalent to our power programmers. And these come at a much higher salary, but these go through a tougher test.
What is the difference? Percentage figure?
In terms
between
of
a regular fresher and somebody who's at par?
In terms of salary, it's almost double.
Okay.
In terms of salary, it's almost double. A power programmer at starting point, it's almost a double salary. But yeah, that's right. If people can pass the test and come as a power programmer, then I think that's fine.
So is that something that you would give advice? I mean, you're
We are advising all a year.
entering the placement season now, and I'm sure there are millions of kids out there watching and looking at you for cues on what they should be doing for a better chance.
Yeah. See, we do many things. I think one of the options is also, as I said, power program is clearly there. People can, so we hire people from a thing, but even people who've joined us, who can pass that test and hackathon, and they can put them as a power programmer. That's one. Second one is InfiTQ, which we've got. I think people, if it's again a learning come assessment, so if they learn and they pass the test, then I think we kind of shorten the training program and fast track it. And also people, if you look at it, our fast track program, we look at people in the training, our training in Mysore. And if in the first 6 months they kind of come up with the top 5 or 10%, then we accelerate their growth. Within 2 years, they can really move on to the next level. So I think it's all people, if they kind of learn fast and perform, then I think the opportunities are phenomenal.